over the last couple of days, the Acolyte trailer has been a highly charged, hot-button issue in the fandom. A pretty insane dislike-to-like ratio, pretty unsurprising though, to be honest, if you've been following discourse surrounding this series in recent months, and many are not very happy. It's all engagement for Star Wars and Lucasfilm though. On their website they put out an article celebrating 51.3 million views across all of the social media platforms the trailer was posted, on X, formerly known as Twitter, YouTube.com, the Shorts, and today, my dear friends, we do have quite a bit of news. Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another video. What a jam-packed, eventful week it's been for the galaxy far, far away, between the Acolyte trailer dropping on Tuesday, the Bad Batch episode on Wednesday, and today we have even more reveals from Leslye Headland as to what we can expect from the High Republic show. And she's been spilling quite a few beans across various outlets like Collider, The Hollywood Reporter, and StarWars.com. And we're not going to waste any time in the intro, my dear friends, we're just going to cut to the chase. Just get to the meat and potatoes, because there is a lot to get through. So no more jibber jabber, let's begin. The first tease by the showrunner is that while the show takes place 100 years before the events of the Skywalker saga, The Acolyte contains a lot of references to the Clone Wars, The Mandalorian, and Andor Season 1. So what could she be referring to? Now while she says it's primarily in reference to the visuals and the aliens, as you're gonna see there might be more. In regards to the Tony Gilroy show Andor, fans noted that one of the planets in the Acolyte trailer looks a lot like Ferrix. If there is a connection to this show, it's got to be in reference to locations. Now in relation to Clone Wars references, they kicked off on Geonosis, and there are a lot of parallels and similarities visually speaking between the Battle of Geonosis with all of the Jedi and the final scene of the trailer of the Acolyte, where all of the Jedi prepare to take on the mysterious, presumably Sith figure who ignited and boomeranged his red blade. But while we're on the subject of Clone Wars references, keen-eyed viewers think they've spotted a familiar face, a familiar prequel Jedi, which could have been a Dave Filoni insertion. I'm talking about this screenshot. If you look on the right, there is a Keldor Jedi, and the logical question that follows, is this guy Plo Koon? I'm gonna say probably not. In canon, Plo Koon is about 70 when he dies during Order 66, but if they decide to go with the Star Wars Legends age, the expanded universe, he was 382. Big difference. I would love for this to be Plo, but I don't think so, my dear friends. Another reveal from Leslye Headland is that she is directly inspired by Rian Johnson, which makes a lot of sense, because, as I noted in my full trailer breakdown, there are a lot of allusions to The Last Jedi, in both the slogan for the show, but also the lessons from Master Soul at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. And not only this, at Star Wars Celebration, Leslye Headland said she's basing the POV of the show, the perspective it takes, on the words of Luke from later in the timeline in Episode 8. She wants to demonize the Jedi, demonstrate their flaws. She even admitted this show is not going to give a favourable view of the Jedi Order. It's Sith-focused and oriented. And Leslye is proud to admit she is a massive fan of the expanded universe, and many of those aspects are coming into the show. This could mean anything, but I would love to see Darth Tenebrous, a very wise, powerful Sith, and maybe a young, teenage Plagueis. She was then asked about a very particular line from the trailer spoken by Charlie Barnett's character, "Someone is killing Jedi. It doesn't make sense." And Leslye was asked to explain it, and she says this: "Well, I think it's really difficult to defeat a Jedi. It doesn't make any sense. Who could do that, especially at the height of their power?" And she says, "And I would consider this the height of their power, because in the Phantom Menace they're not sensing the Sith presence. So I would say, as you move further back, I think you get the Jedi at the height of their power, so it doesn't make sense because who would be able to do that? So I think she's teasing not just May, the assassin, but who she's working for, the big bad, the big Sith in the shadows. You guys know what I'm hoping this is going to lead to, and in a way if she wants to respect the Phantom Menace, they should draw some kind of connection. Some would argue it's necessary. But the show needs to exist for its own sake. It doesn't have to have these connections, but those are certainly a bonus. And a major question Star Wars fans have been pondering about is, are they going to stay true to Ki-Adi-Mundi's line by the time of Episode 1, that the Jedi mistakenly believed the Sith had been extinct for millennium? Leslye Headland is aware of this. It's going to be addressed. There are a few possibilities of navigating this. Maybe all of the Jedi that come across them die, or maybe it doesn't register that they are Sith. I don't think anyone wants more canon breaking, and based on Leslye Headland's words, the show is inspired by various other Star Wars stories like the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, the Clone Wars. She then goes on to say, in spite of previous comments, she is respecting George Lucas's legacy. There are certain boundaries and parameters that she's ensuring they stay within. So moving on, if you're an avid reader of the High Republic, you may have noticed Rebecca Henderson is playing Vernestra Rwoh, many years after Phase 3. Now if you were wondering if we're going to see more High Republic characters, Leslye Headland says no, this is the only one, which kind of makes a lot of sense because many fans going into this wouldn't have read the books, and if you do want to read them, there is now a connection between the two mediums of live action and literature, so you can go back and learn more about Vernestra and other characters and stories therein. And this part of the conversation spurs Leslye to tease Season 2, so on the subject of familiar characters from the books, she says this, "I'm gonna be straight with you, they do not. Part of that is because I wanted to save some people for Season 2. I really focus on Vern, a character that started out as a prodigy, someone powerfully connected to the Force, almost in love with the Force, but also sassy enough to make a lightsaber into a whip. Someone with that experimentation, that energy, and then to see who she is in our show, and to see what happens over the course of becoming more and more powerful as a Jedi, and going from mission after mission to council meetings, and how do we keep this institution going? How do we check it? How do we negotiate the level of power that we have? She's massively respected, and is considered to be one of the most powerful Jedi at this particular time period. And a final major question that fans have wondered about is how long are the episodes going to be? Every reliable source mentioned, don't expect episodes to be an hour in length, and now Leslie's confirmed this. Some are longer than others, but the average is 30 to 35 minutes in length for the 8 episodes of Season 1. Here's the quote. About 30 minutes, yeah. I would say some of them are a little bit longer, like the finale I think it's 40 minutes, but there are also some that are barely 30, so some are on the shorter side. On average, I would say somewhere between like 30 to 35 minutes. I'm cautiously optimistic, but as I've told you guys before, I don't want to judge just based on a trailer. We've been let down in the past. I'm not going to be one of those jumping to the assumption this is going to be the best Star Wars thing ever made, peak Star Wars as they say. I'm a massive prequels fan, and I want some continuity. Hopefully that's not too much to ask, but it's very interesting and kind of entertaining seeing everything coming out. And as I say for Lucasfilm, the engagement is off the charts. I hope you had fun in this video. If you did, let me know down below. Share your thoughts on everything we spoke about. And if you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.